It's official there, British rock star Ozzy Osbourne has died at the age of 76.
We have received word that music legend Ozzy Osbourne has died. Osbourne, as you know, pioneered heavy metal.
July 22nd, 2025. The world woke up to heartbreaking news. The Prince of Darkness, the man who gave birth to heavy metal, the legend who bit the head off a bat and somehow made it iconic, Ozzy Osbourne was gone. But today, we're not here to mourn. We're here to celebrate the beautiful final chapter of a man who lived not one, but several lifetimes. Ozzy Osbourne, the man who once ran across stages like a madman, now sat on a black throne. Parkinson's disease had stolen his ability to stand, but it couldn't steal his spirit. His family, Sharon, Kelly, Jack, Aimee, they were all there, watching their father, their hero, give everything he had left. You know what's beautiful about this moment? Ozzy didn't hide his condition. He didn't pretend to be something he wasn't. He showed the world that even legends are human. Even the Prince of Darkness gets old, gets sick, but love remains eternal. During that performance, with his voice cracking with emotion, Ozzy said something that will haunt us forever. "I don't know what to say, man. I've been laid up for like 6 years. You have no idea how I feel. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. You're all special. Let's go crazy, come on." 17 days later, he was gone. But in those 17 days, something magical happened. Something we all need to hear about. Before we talk about those final days, we need to understand the love story that made it all possible. Sharon and Ozzy. This wasn't just a celebrity marriage. This was a woman who literally saved a man's life and then spent 43 years proving that love conquers everything.
I met Ozzy when I was around 18, and he came into my father's office for management with Black Sabbath. So I was 18 when I first met him.
Sharon met Ozzy when she was just 18. Her father, Don Arden, managed Black Sabbath. But here's the thing. When Ozzy was kicked out of the band in 1979 for his addictions, when everyone gave up on him, Sharon didn't. She saw something in this broken, lost man that even he couldn't see. Think about this for a moment. Ozzy had lost everything. His band, his identity, his purpose. He had 96,000 pounds and was ready to drink and drug himself to death. But Sharon said, "No, not on my watch." She became his manager, his partner, his savior. Fast forward to 2025, and Sharon is still there, still fighting for him, still loving him through Parkinson's, through health scares, through everything. When Ozzy took his final breath on July 22nd, guess who was holding his hand? Sharon. After 43 years of marriage, she was exactly where she'd always been, by his side. Now let me tell you about those final 17 days between his last performance and his passing. This is where the story becomes truly beautiful. But before I tell you that, let me ask you something. When was the last time you told your family you loved them? Really told them? Because after you hear this story, you're going to want to call them immediately. According to close family sources, after that final Birmingham show, Ozzy knew his time was limited. But instead of dwelling on sadness, he chose to focus on what mattered most: his family. Kelly Osbourne, his daughter, later shared that her father spent those days telling stories. Not about the wild rock and roll days, not about the fame or the money. He told stories about family dinners, about watching his kids grow up, about quiet moments with Sharon. Jack Osbourne, his son, revealed something incredibly touching. He said his father spent hours just listening to his grandchildren play. Ozzy would sit in his chair, eyes closed, just absorbing the sound of innocent laughter. The man who once screamed into microphones found peace in the gentle chaos of family life. But Aimee Osbourne, the daughter who chose to stay away from the public eye, was there every single day. She read to her father. Can you imagine? The Prince of Darkness, being read bedtime stories by his daughter, just like when she was a child. You know what's fascinating? In his final weeks, Ozzy became something he never expected to be: a teacher, not of music, but of life. Sharon revealed that Ozzy spent considerable time talking to his children about forgiveness. He told them, "I made a lot of mistakes. I wasn't always the father you deserved, But every single day, I loved you more than my own life. This is a man who bit the head off a bat, who snorted ants, who lived the wildest life imaginable. But in the end, what mattered to him? Being a good father, being a loving husband, being remembered not just as a rock star, but as a man who learned to love. Kelly shared that her father made her promise something. Never let the world make you hard. Stay soft. Stay kind. The world needs more kindness. From the Prince of Darkness to his daughter, choose kindness. How beautiful is that? July 22nd, 2025. Morning in Buckinghamshire. The Osbourne family home was quiet, peaceful. Ozzy had been struggling with his health, but that morning, something was different. According to the family's statement, Ozzy was surrounded by love when he passed. Sharon was there, of course. Kelly, Jack, Aimee, they were all there. Even little Louis, the newest addition to their family. But here's what makes this story so beautiful. In his final moments, Ozzy wasn't afraid. He looked at his family, squeezed Sharon's hand, and whispered something that only they will ever know. But Sharon's face, through all her tears, showed something remarkable: peace. The medical report later confirmed that Ozzy died of a heart attack, with Parkinson's disease and coronary artery disease as contributing factors. But his family knew the truth. Ozzy's heart had been giving everything it had to love them for 76 years. It was just tired. The way Ozzy's passing brought people together. Birmingham shut down Broad Street for his funeral procession. Fans from around the world gathered. But this wasn't just about a rock star dying. This was about celebrating a man who taught us something profound. Elton John said it best: Ozzy secured his place in the pantheon of rock gods, a true legend. But I think Ozzy's real legacy isn't just his music. It's showing us that no matter how wild your life gets, no matter how far you fall, love can save you. Think about this journey. A working-class kid from Birmingham becomes a global icon. He struggles with addiction, makes terrible mistakes, hurts people he loves. But instead of giving up, he chooses to fight. He chooses to love. He chooses to be better. Sharon could have left him 1,000 times. His children could have turned their backs on him, but they didn't. They chose to see the man behind the madness. They chose to love him through everything. So what can we learn from Ozzy's final chapter? What can his beautiful last moments teach us about life, about love, about what really matters? First lesson: it's never too late to prioritize what matters. Ozzy spent decades chasing fame, money, the next high. But in his final years, he discovered that a quiet evening with family was worth more than any sold-out stadium. Second lesson: love is a choice, not a feeling. Sharon chose to love Ozzy every single day for over 4 decades. Through addiction, through health scares, through public embarrassments. Love isn't just passion, it's commitment. Third lesson: your legacy isn't what you accomplish, it's how you love. Yes, Ozzy created incredible music, but his real legacy? Showing his children that people can change, that love can heal, that family is everything. Fourth lesson: vulnerability is strength. The most powerful moment in Ozzy's career wasn't biting that bat's head off. It was sitting on that throne, admitting he was weak, admitting he needed help, and still choosing to show up. Let me tell you something that will break your heart in the most beautiful way. The day after Ozzy died, Sharon did something incredible. She went to their garden and sat in the spot where they used to have morning coffee together. And she had her coffee, just like every other day. But this time, she poured 2 cups. She told the children, "Your father might be gone, but our love story isn't over. It's just different now." That's not grief speaking. That's love in its purest form. Kelly shared that they found notebooks in Ozzy's room. Notebooks where he'd been writing letters to each family member. Letters to be opened on birthdays, graduations, weddings. Even in death, Ozzy found a way to keep loving them. One letter to Sharon read, "Every morning I woke up next to you was a gift I never deserved. You saved my life every single day. I'll love you in whatever comes next." How do you not cry reading something like that? The response to Ozzy's death wasn't just from celebrities or musicians. It was from ordinary people whose lives he'd touched. A father in India wrote about how Crazy Train helped him through depression. A mother in Brazil shared how "Mama, I'm coming home" brought her son back from addiction. But the most touching tributes came from people talking about family, about how Ozzy's journey showed them that it's never too late to be better, that love really can conquer anything, that being vulnerable doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. At his funeral, when the procession stopped at the Black Sabbath Bridge in Birmingham, something magical happened. Thousands of people had left flowers, but also letters to their own family members, letters of forgiveness, letters of love. Ozzy's death had inspired people to reach out to their own families. If this video touched your heart, please share it with someone you love. And remember, like Ozzy taught us, choose kindness, choose love, choose family.